Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel one more time. My name is Collins.
My name is Catherine. Today we are going to talk to you about the beautiful city of Seattle, Washington, and our experience working there as traveling healthcare professionals for a year and a half and 1 year.
So during that time, I worked in 4 hospitals and then Catherine worked in 2 hospitals. So we are going to walk you through the pros and the cons that we came across whilst we were traveling as healthcare professionals in the wonderful city of Seattle, Washington.
So first we want to share with you the pros of traveling in Seattle. The first pro that I'll share with you is pay, which to most healthcare professionals is the most important aspect of...
That's a no-brainer.
most important aspect of traveling. And Seattle happens to have very high paying contracts.
And also for the state of Washington, there's no state income tax, so that definitely does help a little bit with the pay as well. The next pro on our list is housing, and I know this might come as a shocker to most of you all because we do know and acknowledge that housing in Seattle is really expensive. So we wanted to be very economical, so we decided to rent a room in a house on Airbnb, and we stayed in 4 different Airbnbs total, and the prices were between $12.50 to $14.50 the entire time. So to us, that was kind of reasonable, so that's why we listed that as a pro.
The next pro on our list would be the scenery of Seattle. Seattle is known as a beautiful city, and it truly is. It's the evergreen state. It has beautiful tall trees.
Very charming.
Mountains. It's right there on the water, so you have beautiful beaches, gorgeous lakes. And some of our favorite spots, I would say, were Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, which is not in Seattle, it's about 3 hours north towards the Canadian border. And we also really enjoyed Lake Chelan, or Chelan, can't say it right. And it was their warm water, so we were able to swim. It was a little bit cold for us, but it was tolerable.
And our last, or the 4th pro on our list, is the diversity in Seattle. It is really amazing how really diverse Seattle is. Yeah. It is very accepting of people from different backgrounds and cultures, and it is very amazing because you see people from so many backgrounds, religion, culture, you name it. All right, now let's move to the cons.
The first con would definitely be the traffic in Seattle. The highways in Seattle are a bit more narrow than we were used to.
Yeah, coming from Texas, we are used to bigger roads and everything is so sparse and bigger. So that was definitely...
Yeah, and that's just due to the land area in Seattle. It's a smaller city. It's surrounded by water and surrounded by mountains, so the roads are just going to be more narrow, but that does cause more traffic, especially when you are commuting back and forth to work. And that leads us to our next con, which is time spent driving. Due to these narrow highways, and just a lot of people want to live in Seattle, so more traffic, you do have to spend more time driving, whether or not you live close to wherever you're trying to go.
Our next con is gas prices. So when we were leaving Texas, gas was around $2.50, and then when we got to Seattle, we anticipated it was going to be high, so it was around $5. However, getting to the latter part of our contract before we left, it had fortunately come down a little bit, and that was around the low $4 ranges.
So gas was a con that we did expect. One con that we did not expect, and the last one on our list, would be the temperature of the water. We both love to swim, and we were so excited to go to Seattle that has all of this water, and most of it is unswimmable. I say most of it because, as I mentioned earlier, Lake Chelan is warmer, and it's tolerable enough to swim in for a little while, and so that would be the last con on our list. The water is gorgeous to look at. It's just
so crystal clear.
It's crystal clear. It's stunning. It's just really cool to get into, and that was kind of a disappointment for us, but it did not take away from the beauty of Seattle at all.
So that brings us to the end of today's video, and thank you very much for sticking by and listening to us share our experience being in the great state of Washington, specifically Seattle. And if you've ever been to the city of Seattle, kindly share your experience with us. What were the pros? What were the cons to you? And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and see you in our next video. Bye.
Bye.